I recently made the switch from console Titanfall 2 over to the PC, thinking how hard could it possibly be? What's good, everybody? BBKDRAGOON here, excited to talk with you today about my transition from console to PC Titanfall 2. Now, I love both versions of the game, but I thought I would share with you guys what the experience has been like. Somebody who was a Gen 4 console player, picked it up on the Xbox One on launch. I love it. If you watch the channel, you know it has like just been one of my shooter of the year, 2016, and it remains at that point. I think it's one of the best shooters of the last 5 years and plays great on the console. I made the switch to PC about 3.5 weeks ago because the internet situation, long story short, I've just had the opportunity to get it on PC. And it's been awesome. So I'm going to compare and contrast the two over multiple categories, talking about movement, aiming, population, performance, difficulty, which one is better. Spoiler alert, neither of them. That way you can make your own educated decision if some of you are interested in switching over to the PC. I know a lot of you viewers are thinking about building a PC. I built my first PC back in December of this last year. I can't encourage you to do it enough. If you have the time and the budget and you can save up, do it. It's been super duper fun. All right. So I told you I'm a Gen 4 player on the Xbox One, and I just started out on the PC. Diving into the movement system. What makes Titanfall 2 so great? In my mind, it's the combination of the perfect movement abilities and a great shooter. It feels like Mirror's Edge to me, where you're wall running and jumping and boosting, and it all comes together in this beautiful synthesis in a way that Halo and the recent Call of Duties have not been able to do. Every element of the movement system in Titanfall 2 feels perfectly tuned to me for fun factor. Now, I'm somebody who works in 8 to 5, and I play casually, so I'm obviously not going to be up there with the higher echelons of players, and that will shape the opinions you hear today. Movement on PC, much harder than it was on the console, and I'm speaking specifically about the slide hopping and bunny hopping. On the console, I had an Xbox One Elite controller, which has the paddles on the back, and so I got fairly comfortable with bunny hopping. I'm not going to say I'm as, game sager level, of course not, but I was fairly confident in multiplayer matches, moving about, jump sliding, and actually, bunny hopping on the wider spaces to move around the map regularly. Got to that point. On the PC, oh my gosh, I'm terrible. It's so hard for me to do the inputs of A and D, and then moving the mouse in that direction while I'm still doing space control, space control, space control. It's going to take me hours in a custom match to figure out how to do it effectively on the PC like I could on the console. But on the PC, with the mouse and the keyboard, the movement system becomes exponentially more gratifying. I don't know how to describe it any other way than that. If you think it, you can do it. It just feels like you are in the pilot seat. You have the helmet on, and when you're wall running and jumping and then you get that kill, it feels exponentially more rewarding than the controller. Now, maybe that's because I have a lot more time on the controller over the last decade of gaming than I did with, the PC. However, I just wanted to point out movement on the console and the PC. While both gratifying, PC takes the cake for me. Aiming, very, very different. Obviously, the console version of Titanfall 2 has some elements of aim assist. Not a lot, but it is helpful on the controller. That's non-existent on the PC, and as a result, really good mouse players don't need to ADS. So you see a lot of look at the Frothy Omens on YouTube. Phenomenal players, their movement is on point. It just looks like he's flying around the map like somebody in Jet Set Radio Future, right? Just skating from point to point. If you look, they rarely are ADSing unless the weapon is very much geared towards that. Way more hip fire, and the really strong PC players can maintain their movement as well as shooting while sliding and wall jumping. That is more common on the PC than it is on the console. As a result, too, the weapon sandbox is quite different. I would say the console is more stationary in the way that players behave. You see more often on console people finding a point of power and then using Hemlock Devotion style weapons where they can look through a longer line of sight, ADS, set up shop, and take players out. That's not a bad thing. I just have found way less of those Hemlock Devotion style players and way more of the cars, the alternators, heck, even people using the R201s, just they're moving throughout the map way more. That's all I can say. The PC version, the movement feels more fluid and the players feel like they're more dynamically moving throughout the map. Population-wise, I had heard a lot of negative stuff about the PC having an ultra low population, and that just hasn't been true. Over the last month, I've seen 5,000, upwards of like 9,000 concurrents. Have I waited a little bit longer on PC? Yeah, but it hasn't ever been egregious where I need to get up and go get a soda. It's always been under like 2 minutes. Console, you usually see those, what is it now, like 8,000, sometimes up to close to 20,000 concurrents, which is still really good, and I know Respawn has shared they are seeing population numbers improve, which is insane at this point in the game's lifespan. Performance-wise, this is where the PC takes the cake. Maps like Angel City on the console and Xbox One have some gnarly frame drops, and I know they've improved it a little bit, but if you've got that FOV slider cranked up, let's say 10 or 15% more than the base value, you're gonna notice less than 60. On the PC, not a problem. You can have maxed out FOV if you want, even though it makes me kind of sick when I see people do that, and just no issues. It's optimized for a wide variety of PCs. I was playing this on a GTX 1080 Strix, so it's, you know, I would hope it performs really well at 1080p, which it certainly did. Performance isn't a detracting factor for either of these platforms. Difficulty-wise, this one's probably controversial, but they both have really good players. That's what I'll say. I have run into on the PC in the last 3 weeks more Gen 16 and 17 players than I regularly do on Xbox One. There is a die-hard set of PC players who love this game, love it, and play it regularly, and that is awesome. The same is true about the console version of the game. There are some phenomenal players out there. Which is better? Neither. They're both awesome. Titanfall 2 is awesome. Play on whatever platform that you can. If you have the opportunity to try it on PC, please do. And yay, discount this game on Origin. It shouldn't be $40 anymore. It's 20 bucks on console. If you go to Amazon, you can basically pick this game up on console almost anywhere brand new for 20 bucks. There's no reason the PC version should still be 40. That is actually a really limiting factor for most of my friends who would easily spend 20 bucks on this fantastic game. If you have any questions for me, please let me know in the comments section down below. Thanks for watching this video, and which platform do you play on? Have you had the chance to play it on multiple platforms? I'd really love to hear about it, or just your Titanfall 2 experience since launch thus far. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you next time.